Madden Football is the home of the Super Bowl, and this historic matchup is brought to you by EA Sports. It's the Lions and the Dolphins, and it comes your way next.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Tonight, it is all on the line. We play for the Lombardi Trophy, as it'll be the AFC champion Miami Dolphins taking on the NFC champions, the Detroit Lions. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And CD, what a run for these Dolphins. Remember, they were bounced in the first round of the playoffs last year, but they are back as the AFC's representatives in Super Bowl 58.
And partner, it's been a long time since their last Super Bowl triumph. That was back in 1974, and no one on this team was even alive when that happened, including their head coach. So plenty to play for here tonight, trying to add another Lombardi Trophy to their arsenal.
Meanwhile, for the Lions, it might be a state holiday in Michigan tomorrow if they can pull this one off. The final act of the 2023 season is at hand. What a spectacle in Las Vegas. We're off in Super Bowl 58. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Here is Tua Tagovailoa heading out to lead this Miami offense.
And no doubt he's living out a dream right now. He's had dating back to his first days of playing football as a kid. But he certainly can't get lost in the moment right now. There's still a Super Bowl to be played, and his offense, they're looking to him to be their leader. You can take it all in when it's over. Right now, you've got the biggest game of your life to win.
Throwing to start here is Tua. He'll dump this off to Achane. He'll wind up getting a yard on the game's first play at second down.
I know it was a game, but you have to sense probably a little bit of disappointment there because when it's out there in open space, I think they expect to get more out of the play, don't you?
Especially when you're getting it to your guy out of the backfield. You're expecting him to be able to create something, be a little more shifty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good open field tackling held it to an okay game.
Throwing is Tagovailoa on third down here. Well, throw here right sideline falls incomplete. That's a pretty good opening possession defensively.
And you know the goal is to make something of a statement, especially on the road with your first defensive possession, isn't it? Go right out and establish yourselves and let them know this is going to be tough going all game long.
Fair catch called for and made right at the 25-yard line. So here are the Lions now as they get set for their opening drive. And trotting out there, a guy who's established himself as a veteran in this league, now in his fifth year at quarterback.
As we begin the Super Bowl, we're looking at one of the game's most important players. And whether he's the centerpiece of the offense or taking a backseat to his teammates, offenses always look to the quarterback to be a leader in moments like this. He's got to be that calm, composed pillar out there who stays level-headed and keeps everyone focused on the task at hand.
Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphin shaken up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. 2nd and 9 now. And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete.
Well, touch and time are critical for those types of throws. He put a lot of zip on that one. Needed just a little bit more finesse trying to get it to his back.
Out of the gun now on third down. Now he's free to midfield. And finally taken down at the 34. A big play there on the catch and run. 39 yards.
Well, my dad would say sometimes, I'm just scratching my head here trying to figure out what was going on there defensively. How did you lose him in the middle of the field? If you're going to lose a receiver, make sure it's someone on the short side of things, not deep downfield, that can hurt your defense.
On 1st and 10, here's Gibbs. And he'll get what he can up the middle, 3 yards. That'll bring up second down. This Super Bowl, of course, just a huge one for this head coach. The first time he's walked the sidelines in a game of this magnitude. And you know, I might normally ask the cliche, what's going through his mind right now? But maybe the better question, CD, what do you think are the pitfalls of being a first-time head coach in this game?
Well, you know it's something that he thought about, Brandon. He had to, and he was thinking about it long before he got to this stage. As the season progressed and he saw that his team was good, If he was smart, he started to make plans right then and there. Reach out to other coaches who've been there before. Find out how they handle winning, losing, handling all the ticket situations, travel, practice, all those things. And then trust your gut, make your best decision, and put it all out there and give your team their best chance to win.
Back to throw now on first down. And he's got it. And the Lions are going to have a first and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line. A chance for the first score of this Super Bowl. Here's first and goal. Gibbs. He is going nowhere in a hurry as he is going to lose yardage here in a big way. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up second down. They'll drop to throw. They call it a loss of a yard there. And that'll bring up a third down and goal.
I really like the angles that the tacklers came from on that play. They secured inside, took away the cutback. The sideline's there, so he can only go so far outside. And they were able to close in and tackle him for a loss.
Yeah, they use your boy over. And that is caught. Touchdown, Detroit. Allen Robinson. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Lions are on the board first here in this Super Bowl. An ideal start for them, really. You force the punt, and then you go down and score.
And you've got to see a fist pump on the sideline from the head coach, don't you? Because he's turned into his bench, and he's telling his team, this is how we prepare. Force the punt, go downfield and score. I told you guys, it's just like a boxer in the gym preparing for the fight. Now we get to turn it all loose.
Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20. So Miami coming out for their second drive. They trail early on in this Super Bowl as they come up 1st and 10. Tagovailoa working out of the gun. That one taken in by Dwayne Eskridge. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Now Tua. He gets this to the former Aztec, Kahale Waring. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphin shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. They run with Bolden. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. 7 yards there and a 1st down.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
On play action, here's Tua. And his throw is going to be incomplete.
Certainly looked like someone was very confident in his ability to fit that one in. I would say he was overconfident because there wasn't a whole lot of separation there. Had that one covered pretty well downfield and knocked it away.
Meanwhile, Tua's throw caught by his receiver, Hill. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
And I think this is a route we'll see more of as this game goes on because with his speed, they want to get him the ball in space on drag routes just like this. They want him to get the ball and run after the catch. Good job there, though, holding it for a short game.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
You absolutely have to have this early on, right? 3rd and short, they elect to throw for it, and that's normal NFL football. They're going to throw on 3rd and short, but you've got to hit it, don't you?
Yeah, in the first quarter, like you said, to set the tone, can't connect there. So here come the Lions now. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. Drive starts with a run from Gibbs. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. 2nd down and 8. A play-action fake. They'll look to throw. He's airing it out for Williams. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off Byron Jones. And he will take this all the way down to the 38-yard line. Well, this defense was victimized earlier in this opening quarter. This time, a measure of revenge.
Well, they always tell defenses you have to have a short memory. But I also think it helps if you remember what happens to you before, and now you're able to flip it around. They didn't want to show weakness and let this offense think they can do whatever they want. And they turned things around in that case and picked one off themselves.
The Dolphins ready to take over on offense. And they'll take over here following the interception with a chance to tie the ball game. It's 1st and 10. On 1st down, Bolden. And maybe a little over pursuit there as he's able to take this down to the 25-yard line. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphin shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. On 1st down, Tagovailoa. And his throw is incomplete.
The defender certainly didn't forget about him leaking out of the backfield. There's a guy ready and waiting to pick him up in coverage. And that throw had no shot.
On 2nd down, Bolden. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
And he's going to go down. Back at the 27-yard line, he's sacked. Aleem McNeil coming in to drop it for a loss of 8, and it also brings up 4th.
And that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
So 4th down, Tua departs, and on is Jason Sanders and the Dolphin field goal unit. The kick by Sanders is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
St. Brown in motion right. Now a fake on the jet sweep, and they'll instead run up the middle. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Here we go on 2nd and 12. Complete. That's Fisher. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. First down Detroit, 16 yards on the pickup. On play action, they'll throw. Try to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. Picked up by a Fitu Melifonwu. And the Dolphins will have solid field position here as they take over at the 45-yard line.
And partner, I think this is where long-term starters in the NFL separate themselves from the rest of the pack, because there's still 3 full quarters left in this one. More than enough time to move past a pair of early mistakes and find a way to lead your team to a win. Mental resiliency, a characteristic every NFL team's looking for in their quarterback.
Tua and the Dolphins now with a 1st and 10 at the 45. On the handoff, they start with Bolden. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
offense looked a little bit discouraged after that play, shaking their heads a bit, looking at each other. I think they thought they'd get a lot more out of that call. Sometimes you do get the running lane you want, and other times, the defensive front, they just break up the play before it can get going.
And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. His first catch of this Super Bowl, and it'll be good for a first down.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Back to the air on second down, Tagovailoa. And he's going to get this inside the 30. His second catch of the Super Bowl, and it's good enough for a first down. Now a handoff up the middle. Bolden. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. Throwing now is Tagovailoa. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's second down. And they'll turn to the power game to try to get in. And he takes it into the end zone for the Dolphin touchdown. Alec Ingold, a 3-yard touchdown run. And the Dolphins have taken the lead. Well, it was second and goal. You're in there close. That's the fullback's comfort zone.
Not only is it his comfort zone, it's an expectation. That's what he's supposed to do. Turn and hand it to him. Big guys fire out. Find your way into the end zone.
Jason Sanders now for the extra point. And it's through, and that makes the lead 10-7. So that lines up a 7-play drive all told. And it ends with a 3-yard scoring run. No run back here for Raymond. This will be a touchback. Detroit's offense ready to take over. They trailed early on in this Super Bowl as they come up 1st and 10. And they start things off with a carry by Gibbs here. That's some good hard running there as he'll push his way forward for about 5.
Well, they did throw interceptions on their last 2 drives, so no surprise at all they decided to start it with a running play. I'm actually a little bit surprised, though, that they got as much out of it as they did.
Yeah, decent little gain. Puts them in a pretty good spot for second down. There he goes, left side. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. That brings us to the end of one in Super Bowl 58. Much more to come from Las Vegas after this. 10-7 our score. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. They'll look to throw here. It's complete to Robinson. Takes this to the 32, maybe the 31, and then the defense rallying quickly after that broken tackle. From the 31, here's a 2nd down and 4. He'll look to throw. This to Arnold on the short pass. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And now 2 yards to go on 3rd down. Again, he'll drop to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he's got another 1st down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 17-yard line. 11 yards there as they connect on the quick slant.
I like the call on 3rd and 2. They were geared up to stop the run. I like the fact they just hit them quick. Little slant route. All about timing there, partner.
Yeah, the timing, everything well executed. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. This is caught. Touchdown! Amon-Ra St. Brown from 17 yards out. And the Lions have retaken the lead. On that connection, it looked like they maybe had some pre-play communication. Maybe one of them noticed an area that was open in the defense to get the pass to.
When you put the time in, sometimes you have that great silent communication that you just noticed right there, because the best quarterback-receiver combos in the NFL, they know how to make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage when they see something pre-play, and they got it done there.
Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And the lead is now 14-10. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. That last drive, it was a good mix. Run, pass, defense on their toes.
And what really helps out in a big way is when you're doing the run-pass mix and everything's working, that means that they're guessing wrong every time on defense. They think you're going to pass when you run and vice versa. I would continue that, and when they finally draw a beat on you, maybe you mix it up a little bit, a little play action and throw the ball.
And will they maintain that balance? Time to find out. Now, meanwhile, here's a second down throw that's knocked away and incomplete. The Dolphins on third down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 9. Looking to pass. Tua. Now the pressure gets there, and Tua is going to be taken down. Zach Cunningham with a big-time sack on third down. It's a loss of 7. Here's Ryan Stonehouse now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. So a change of possession here on the punt, and the Lions will take over. Their quarterback leading this offense back out. He already with a couple of touchdown throws in this first half as his guys start 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. 2nd down. Now it's 2nd and 10. They'll set up a throw. And that'll be caught by St. Brown. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
When you decide to run a hitch route, it really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
He did a fine job there not hitting him before the ball arrived. And I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
Dolphins offense returning to the field, and they will start this drive with just terrible field position, backed up inside their own 5.
But we have seen teams be bold here and take shots, right? Sometimes you go max protection, make it a one-receiver route, and take your shot downfield and see what happens. And occasionally, we've seen success occur.
And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. This is 2nd and 8. They stay on the ground. Here's Bolden again. And this is going to double their room to maneuver, able to get it from the 5 to the 10-yard line. Here's 3rd and 3. Tua going to throw. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. So instead of giving them another 3rd down, they'll decline it, brings up 4.
Now that's smart football right there. You don't even have to really spend a lot of time considering it. Just know that you're probably going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
Take it at the 37. Following the punt return here, there is someone shaken up. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down. Here's a 2nd and 8. Counter play. Here's Gibbs. And a lane slow and materializing there as he'll get maybe a yard up to the 45. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Middle of the field, it's Robinson. But he won't quite make it. He needed 6. He got about 5. 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job here of limiting that and keeping him from a 1st down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. They're behind in the first half here, CD, but it's not through any fault of their running back. He's had a strong start to this one.
And you're right about that, partner, because watching him play, you would think that his team is in the lead. He has been a lot of fun in this contest. Now let's see if they can actually make something happen, put more points on the board behind his efforts.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, Charles, if they can play complementary football and get that passing game going as well. And Tua going to keep it on the draw. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. Credit Zadarius Smith able to get through and make that tackle for a loss. So a 5-yard run the other way in the wrong direction, and that leads us to 2nd and 15. Going to the air, Tagovailoa. He's going to let this one go deep. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down. Tall task ahead of him here, needing a full 15 yards to move the chains. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's going to go up top again. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down. On 4th down, Ryan Stonehouse on to punt. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. Amon-Ra St. Brown and the rest of the Detroit Lions getting set for another series here. Making his presence felt early in this one. First half, already over the century mark.
How about the yards per completion, too? That's a pretty darn good number there. Number of catches, but his shredding defense is getting big yardage with each and every one of them.
Now here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete. Here's 2nd and 10. Gibbs straight ahead. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on 1st down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on 2nd.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in an expected passing situation.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Oh, that's well done defensively. They get the pressure they needed on 3rd down. All the receivers are locked up tight, and they force that quarterback to just throw it away.
And here now the punter Fox as he sends this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. A 40-yard punt, no return, and they will take over 1st and 10. Now the Dolphins getting set to go here. Now, if you're a fan of punting, and I know that not many people are, but this game kind of turning into one for you.
Well, it's okay if it's a skills contest, right? We're really into it then, but not during the course of an actual game. This has turned into a field position game, though. Sometimes a better punter may actually determine the outcome.
Ball on the 28-yard line. Here's a 2nd down and 9. Here's Tagovailoa to throw. And that one off the mark behind him, incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
Throwing is Tagovailoa on 3rd down here. And now another one thrown incomplete.
Well, how about the coverage we just saw break out on 3rd down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed. Unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Here's the Lion offense now as they get ready to take over. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
First down yardage on the first play of the drive, 14 yards.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. They're going to look to throw. And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much. Just a little beyond the reach there of his receiver. That's probably one he wishes he had back.
He wishes it had been 7-on-7 in practice, or maybe even routes versus air, because that's a completion he makes, what, 9.9 times out of 10? Just missed that one.
The Lions on 3rd down. They've hit 4 of 7. This is 3rd and 10. Back to throw again. He's got his target. That's complete. And he is going to have the Lions first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. His 2nd catch of the Super Bowl, and it's good enough for a first down. 2 minutes on the clock in the 2nd quarter of this Super Bowl. So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 48-yard line. They'll look to throw again. Oh, and that is incomplete.
Offense was moving it a little bit, had them back on their heels, but they earned a brief pause by forcing the incompletion. That gives them a quick chance to regroup and try and mount a stand before they're backed up even further.
Now here's a throw. It's complete. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. The Lions passing game in sync now. They've got another first down.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Setting up the screen, this is Gibbs. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
With all the success they've had throwing the football as a pass rusher, you know you've got to come hard when you see him drop back to throw. So I really like this call to counteract that pass rush with a screen. It turns into positive yardage. A lot of times the offense says, just replace the rusher with the ball, and it turns into a good play.
That one good for 7 as this long drive continues and the chains move again. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Now back to throw. Throws out left. It's caught by Williams. And in for the Lions touchdown. Jamison Williams from 17 yards out. And the Lions continue to look good here in the first half of this Super Bowl.
And that's certainly an important score right there because they gave themselves a 2-score cushion heading towards halftime. Now you got to force the other team out of their comfort zone, and it changes the way you approach the second half as well. How you want to do things on offense, and your defense feels much better too, having that lead.
Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And that makes it a 21-10 game. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. The Dolphins taking over now late in this first half. And with him down 2 scores, you wonder if they might try and put something together, even if it's just to get into field goal range. Setting to throw on first down is Tua. Short throw hauled in by Croft. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts. as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. The Dolphins going to take their second timeout as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds to go in the first half. Well, the pressure gets there, and Tua is going to be taken down. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. And they'll indeed stop him on third down. And now what do you want to do with your timeouts? The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts. So that means they're down to one remaining here as we head toward halftime. The clock showing just 16 seconds till the half as they line up 1st and 10. And they're just going to run it here up the middle. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. So we've reached halftime here in the Super Bowl as we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach?
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. What a season this has been. Hard to believe it ends tonight, as we'll get back to you guys for the second half of this Super Bowl in just a moment. It's been a tremendous season of football, but it's not over yet. One half remains to decide who will stand on the podium with the Vince Lombardi Trophy. And to call the second half, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Here comes Khalif Raymond from his end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down officially at the 21. And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And I would imagine this is where you have to take stock of the situation, CD, and say, gosh, we're halfway to the Lombardi Trophy. Let's not slow down now.
And I like the way you went there. Let's not slow down now, because the first half certainly went their way. And I would expect them to continue with that type of a game plan. But you're right. You do think back to Super Bowl 54. 49ers had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, couldn't hold on. So plenty can still happen.
A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for third down. Gibbs will try and pick it up. And this will wind up a Lions first down as he's able to get this up past the 40.
Most of their damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've run the bell 3 times with passing touchdowns, but guess what? Ground game has not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
They'll go again with Gibbs. Shifts past him at the 45. And boy, showing how tough he can be to bring down, just fighting his way forward to pick up 7 yards. From the 48-yard line, here's 2nd and 3. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And this one is incomplete.
Everything looked right on that play except the conclusion. He dropped it, and en route, going into a little bit of traffic. Maybe in the back of his mind, he was wondering where the hit was going to come from.
On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. He's got his running back out of the backfield. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
This is a nice job of just taking what the defense is going to give you on third down. You're not looking for a big play downfield. You just want to find something that can get you past the marker. They found it, and were able to keep the drive moving.
On first down, he'll drop to throw. This to Arnold on the short pass. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Throw over the middle, he finds Williams. And he'll be marked down at the 26 with a gain of 7. 2nd down and 3. Again, he'll drop to throw. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. So another third down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. He's got his man. It's caught for a Lion touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. His 2nd touchdown of this Super Bowl. And the Lions will extend their 3rd quarter lead here in this Super Bowl.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Badgley on for the extra point. And the lead is up to 18 now. A pretty long drive that time. 11 plays all told. And it's capped off by a touchdown for the Lions. Here's Moore. He will return it. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. So here are the Dolphins now. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
So the completion good for 7 there, and it's 2nd down. Well, they'll run it here on the jet sweep. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down. Well, we've seen running backs in today's NFL get involved in the passing game. Maybe it's about time more receivers like that get involved in the running game.
And that is something we are seeing more and more in this league, no question about it. That wasn't the biggest of gains, but it's enough to get them a 1st down. And it continues to test the defense. They have to think on every play about who might end up with the ball. Kind of a dangerous throw there. He's off balance when he gets rid of it. But this is all about a quarterback knowing what he can get away with. And that time, it turns into a completion and a healthy gain as well.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10, right at the 40. Boulder fights through him, escapes the defender. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. 75 yards for him on the ground now. He has been a tough man to bring down all night. Tua now on 1st down. And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down. And he's wrapped up, taken down, back at the 25. Zadarius Smith showing his strength and quickness there, a loss of 4. So now after the sack, Tua and the Dolphins staring at a 3rd and long. Throwing now is Tagovailoa. Complete here to the right to Bolden. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. They'll get 11, but it'll still lead to a 4th down.
And that's a play that's not uncommon on 3rd and long because the offense is just hoping that somehow they can get a guy in space and follow some blockers downfield. Does a pretty nice job there getting a few yards, but he ends up getting stopped before he can get the 1st down.
They're able to keep the drive alive, 7 yards that time, and the decision to go for it proves to be a good one.
That was 4th and what we would call long in that situation, wasn't it? That wasn't 4th and inches, was it?
No, I mean, you get in those situations 4th and 3, 4th and 4. That's a lot to, what would you say, a lot of pizza left in that box.
It certainly is. Not everyone dove in on that one. In today's NFL, this is a passing down, all right? This is not a running down. That takes a lot of guts to call that play and even better execution.
Looking to pass, Tua. And he's going to go down. Sacked right around the 17. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. Way back at the 17 now after the loss. It's 3rd and goal. From the gun, it's Tua. And that is incomplete. Detroit was up for the challenge through the air. They force a 4th down.
I know that we've seen their share of struggles, and the quarterback's been hit a few times in this game, but this one can't be put on the offensive line. They gave him plenty of time to throw the football. I think ultimately he has to be a lot more decisive in his decision-making and get rid of it and find an open target.
So that maybe not exactly what they were hoping for, but it does get them back within a couple of scores.
And at this point in the 3rd quarter, you don't have much margin for error, and that means you can't have drives that end with nothing. Whether it's a punt, a turnover on downs, those have to go away. You have to end with a kick, either a field goal or an extra point after a touchdown.
We're going to look at Amon-Ra St. Brown as his offense readies for the next drive. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it? Right. Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
On 2nd down, here's Gibbs. And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30.
That 2nd down play call was not to pick up the 1st down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable 3rd down because they had incompletion on 1st down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. Touchdown, Detroit. Jamison Williams, his 2nd touchdown of this Super Bowl. And the Lions are feeling good as they extend their lead in this Super Bowl. So on 3rd and medium, they dial up the pass, and it works to hit the end zone.
And it's really not a surprise to me. That's a throwing down in the NFL because of how tough it is to run the football. But what offenses like to do is still show run formations to make them respect it and throw out of those. In this case, they took a nice shot at the end zone and made it pay off.
Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And the lead opens up now to 22 points. This taken in at the goal line. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The Dolphins offense now working their way back onto the field. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
They work now on 2nd and 9. They'll run again with Bolden. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
It's a good, nice, crisp run for a 1st down. I wonder if the defense might have been loosened up a little bit, maybe anticipating a pass instead of the run that they got.
Now it's Bolden. And he'll get this one up to about the 39 here. 98 yards rushing for him now in the ball game. 2nd down and 4. Here's Bolden. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Well, now after all of this, hang on here because he appears to be shaken up. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Tua sets up to pass it. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Picked up by DJ Reed. And the Lions are going to have the short field here as they'll take over right at the 50.
Partner, I think this one won a ride very simply because he overestimated his arm strength and his ability to fit it anywhere he wants to. A lot of quarterbacks do that and often pay the price.
The Lions offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. They'll have good field position at midfield following the turnover as they start with a 1st down here. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. And a pretty athletic run right there as he's going to get this down inside the 40. 11 yards there and a Lion first down.
That was good, tough running right up the middle. And if the defense can't penetrate and make him slow his pace or change direction, that's often the end result.
Now a play fake here on first down. Finds Gibbs on a check down. Just a gain of a couple there, and it'll be second down. He'll drop to throw. This throw incomplete, nearly picked off. And with his pedigree, he doesn't drop many of those. But third down coming up. Back to throw here. Pass to the sideline and pulled in. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. That third down conversion good for 23.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the third quarter. I think they keep taking their shots.
Mike McDaniel, he's going to ask him to take a closer look at this call. Out comes a challenge flag. Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch, because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Well, here's the call. So the challenge there does not go their way. This will indeed remain a completed pass. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 14 yards. And the Lions are starting to open things up here in this Super Bowl. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And that'll push the lead up to 29 now. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. From the end zone, here comes Eskridge. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. So now here come the Dolphins. Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come up 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard. We are through 3 quarters of play here from Allegiant Stadium in Super Bowl 58. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Ball on the 40 now. Here's 2nd and a yard. Folks, welcome back to the biggest stage in sports, the Super Bowl, and now we get down to the good stuff, the 4th and final quarter. 7 yards there and a first down. Going to the air, Tagovailoa. And once again, it's Eskridge. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Now a 2nd and 2. Up the middle they go. Bolden, and this time he's able to take it down to the 42. 2 yards, good enough for a first. Now Tua. It's caught. Left side, Bolden. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. From the 38 now, here's 2nd and 6. Here's Tagovailoa to throw. Quick throw, and that's Eskridge on the slam. They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a first down. On the toss, Bolden. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
And that's exactly what you're looking for at the inside linebacker spot. Versatility. He can drop into coverage, or as he did on that last play, use his speed to get to the perimeter and knock the ball carrier for a loss.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
And he will not get what he needed as he stopped short of the first down at around the 22. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaking up on the play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. Fourth down, fourth quarter. Here's Tua. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Dolphins can't convert on fourth down. And this 10-play drive winds up yielding nothing. Well, their first fourth down attempt earlier was successful. This one backfires for a turnover on downs.
I like their aggressiveness. I like what they're doing. They got it the first time they went for it. Why not a second time? I don't think they'll be daunted from attempting it again. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, though, any fourth down stop is a big momentum play.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down. Another run for Gibbs here, and he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. A loss on that play, and now third down gets tougher. 3rd and 6. They'll set up a throw. This to Arnold on the short pass, and he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
On 1st and 10, here's Gibbs. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
Second down, and they go back to Gibbs. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. On third down, he'll drop to throw. And that incomplete, nearly intercepted. And remember, he had his hands on one earlier, had one pick. Could have been his second, but instead it's fourth down. Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. This is taken at the 23. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially, and it'll be Dolphin football. Out comes the Dolphin offense now as they get set to take over here. And their Super Bowl hopes are dwindling here in the 4th. That AFC crown from 2 weeks ago is starting to seem like a distant memory. And this one just has not gone as they had hoped. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. It'll go as a gain of 33, and that play started back at their own 33.
At this stage, there's nothing left to do but to keep firing, and if you're a play caller, you may go off your sheet and use some things maybe you hadn't planned to in this game. Maybe that was one of them there that worked.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Tua going to throw. Now defensively, you look at the numbers. Another incomplete pass that we just saw, and they're under 200 yards passing for the game, so they've done their job on that side of the ball.
Yeah, recently I was actually working a game where a quarterback had a streak of 5 straight games without a 200-yard game, and that was a big talk both in his town and amongst his team. How do we get the passing game going? So big credit to them holding them under 200 today.
So now 3rd and 10, a big play to start the drive, but nothing since. Tua setting up shop to throw again. He's got his target. That's complete. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Dwayne Eskridge, 33 yards. And the Dolphins get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this 4th quarter deficit. He's got them out now to a 3-score lead here in the 4th quarter after that one, CD. And well, he looked right off the line like he knew that that ball was coming his way, and he secured it for 6 points.
Yeah, and I think when you're leading by a healthy margin already, it actually loosens you up and allows you to take maybe a few more chances and definitely play with more confidence because he certainly saw something he could exploit in the defense and made sure to let his quarterback know, just get it to me. And the rest was all up to him, and he delivered and made it a 3-score game.
So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And the Lions are able to cover this one up. The risk-reward of the onside kick, when you don't get it, the risk comes out to play, and here they gave up great field position.
And that's the key to everything because you're trying your best to press advantages when you have them, and field position leads you to that type of play calling, and whether you want to blitz or whether you want to throw the ball deep, those types of things, now that they've given up that type of field position, the advantage is switched to their opponent.
Straight ahead with Gibbs here. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. From the 34-yard line, here's 2nd down and 2. Out of the gun, they'll give to Gibbs. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down. On the give, here's Gibbs. He'll get about 6 there as he takes this one down to the 24-yard line. And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. Here's 2nd and 4 from the 24. Hand off now to Gibbs. Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage. Dolphins bring on an extra defensive back on 3rd down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away. And a pretty nice tackle there, ranging up from his free safety spot as he'll stop him about a yard short. It's a pickup of 4, but they're still a yard short here with 4th down forthcoming.
So many things go into making a good play on defense. In this situation, just not being blown out of the way was a big start, and then a nice tackle to finish things off.
Badgley able to punch this one through, and that will extend their lead even further. Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
The Miami's offense set and ready to go. Well, this game, it has had no shortage of offense. They've been able to put up a decent amount of points on this side, Charles. They just have not been able to keep pace with the other offense they're going against here.
Yeah, that's a good way of pointing things out because now it's not a total loss because, as you said, they've scored some points, so there's some plays they can build on, moments where the game plan actually worked. But overall, though, they were just out personnel. They were going up against a team that's playing at an elite level.
Tua wants to throw it on 2nd down. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. Oh, some strong running. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. That one good for 13 and a Dolphin first down. Tagovailoa working out of the gun. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they've blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
A dump off here to Bolden. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this 4th quarter. Now a 3rd misses the target, incomplete.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
Tagovailoa going for it on 4th down. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Lions will get the football back in terrific field position. So that's the second time this game they've given it up on 4th down. They're now 1 for 3 on 4th down conversion tries.
But they must feel good about what they're doing, right? They continue to go for it on 4th down. Give the defense a lot of credit, though. If they've stopped them 2 out of 3 times, usually you have 4th down plays that you have dialed up and ready to go and you think are going to be successful. Not so far in this game.
And the Lions, yes, the Detroit Lions have won the Super Bowl. For the victors, getting to hoist that Lombardi trophy, you know, we've talked to guys that have done it, and they say there's no better feeling in sports.
I don't know how there can be. The journey to get to this game is incredible. And then to finally break through and win it when all eyes are on this game alone because there's nothing else going on, that's just got to be absolutely amazing. The task, incredible. But the accomplishment, forever.